Hi, I'm Rob McGaughey from Avid. I'm here today at Sweetwater to talk about controlling the 11 rack from the Ground Control Pro foot controller by Voodoo Lab. Sweetwater has a special version of the Ground Control Pro that they have pre-programmed and mapped to the 11 rack. The beauty of this is you just take this out of the box, plug it in, connect a MIDI cable from the MIDI out to the MIDI in of the 11 rack, and it's all ready to go. Everything's pre-programmed right out of the box. It's mapped to the artist presets that Sweetwater ships with the 11 racks that they sell. There are 104 artist presets from guitarists like Steve Stevens, Joe Satriani, Adrian Belew, Buddy Miller, Johnny Hyland, and the list goes on and on. Fantastic guitar players that have painstakingly created presets that just sound amazing. So let's take a look at how this works. So the first thing we'll talk about is how you can use the Ground Control Pro to change presets on the 11 rack. So as you know, the 11 rack is laid out in banks of 4. So there's 26 banks of 4 in the user presets. Here, I'm looking at Kebmo's Hum Clean. If I wanted to see the second preset in that bank, I hit the 2 button there at the bottom, and that takes me to the second one. Or I can go to the third one or the fourth one and step through the different presets. If I want to change banks, I just use the bank button over here to go to a different preset here. So if I wanted to go to preset 3 of that bank, I can get Steve Stevens' Fillmore 69 preset. And you see it easily step through and access all of the presets in the banks the way the 11 rack is laid out, which is banks of 4. The white numbers on the Ground Control Pro, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, on the top 2 rows there, are mapped to match the 8 buttons on the front of the 11 rack. So for example, number 1 with the red LED on the Ground Control Pro is mapped to distortion with the green LED on the 11 rack. So if I wanted to turn off the distortion, I simply press that button. Now you notice that the distortion went off and the red LED went off, telling me that I turned off the distortion effect. If I'd like to do that with modulation, that's the 2 button. That's mapped there, and you see that was the vibe phaser that was just turned off by me pressing the 2 button. If I turn these back on, the LEDs on each unit light up to tell me that they've been turned on or off. I can do the same thing with all the different presets. So for example, they just map exactly as you would expect. 3 is delay, 4 is reverb, 5 is FX loop, it's your external effects loop, 6 is FX1, 7 is FX2, and 8 is your tap tempo. So for example, if I wanted to change the tempo of a preset or however that's mapped, I could just tap this twice and establish the tempo. So I could slow it way down. Now you see the LED starting to flash at a slower rate, mapping the tempo that I just tapped in. So that gives you access to tap tempo right from your Voodoo Lab Ground Control Pro. So as you can see, we can easily turn on and off the different effects on the 11 rack from the Ground Control Pro and easily see with the LEDs on each unit what effects are on and off very easily. As well as you can go through and turn on and off or switch through the different presets, the 1, 2, 3, 4 in the individual banks and switch through the banks right from the front. And with the little strip, you can see the name of the preset on the Ground Control Pro, in this case Steve Stevens' Fillmore 69, that maps the preset on the 11 rack. Okay, so that's it. You just plug it in and go. And then you can control your 11 rack while you're playing guitar. It's just that simple. If you already have an 11 rack, call your Sweetwater sales engineer and they'll help you add the Ground Control Pro to your rig. If you'd like to look at a complete system like I've shown here today, they have some amazing bundles with the 11 rack that ships with Pro Tools 11, the pre-programmed Ground Control Pro to control it, as well as the cables and everything you need to do what I've shown you today. Thanks for watching.